making sure everyone is admitted to the room. And I would like to say welcome to everyone. This is the Masterclass series. Today we are talking about pathways tracking. And with us is distinguished Toastmaster David Bennett. He joined Toastmasters in October 1995 when he was a civilian faculty member at the U.S. Army War College. This college is where senior American and foreign military officers spend 11 months broadening their strategic insights. Public speaking was one of the elective courses and was very much in demand by these officers. At the time, the War College Club, 8401 Free Speakers, proudly produced over 100 competent Toastmasters annually. Over the years, David has been a member of several Toastmasters clubs in Pennsylvania and Washington, D.C., and was honored to be a guest speaker to Toastmasters clubs in East Africa and West Africa, with the latter in French-speaking clubs. No translator needed. David is bilingual, French and English. As VP Education for several clubs over many years, David found his calling by helping club members navigate the ever-changing Toastmasters education and speaking requirements with as little difficulty as possible. He offers a method of tracking progress through an Excel workbook, which he has updated with each pathway's evolution, including the late 2025 new additions for level completion. David will share with you what these trackers look like, how these may be used by members and the officers, and hopefully provide a simple way to track individual progress, making approval of level completion clearer for club officers. David will also touch on Easy Speak, the website he's used in several clubs as a complementary tool to track member progress. David has no experience with free toast hosts, although we may have some on the meeting that could speak to that. Should attendees wish to obtain copies of this Excel workbook pathways tracker, you can reach out to David afterwards, or he will send out a post-meeting email that will have the link to the recording of this session and a copy of the tracker. Now let's see if these trackers are worthy of our time and our attention. The floor is yours, David.
Thank you, Michelle. My apologies. The mouse was not mousing around. Thank you for that introduction, and ladies and gentlemen, good evening. A slight correction to my bilingualism, Michelle. I'm trilingual because I also speak Toastmaster. Thank you all for attending. I'm going to go through with you the process that I have used in 2 or 3 clubs to track member success, progress, and level completion, and also the same tool I have used to mentor members to suggest which way they could proceed to improve their skills in public speaking and in leadership. And Michelle, thank you also. I did update my tracker to include the last changes by Toastmasters International. What I have not done is included the old book-based pre-pathways system of completing levels like competent Toastmaster, advanced Toastmaster, silver, gold, and so forth. Those I'll leave for a future presentation. So with your permission and indulgence, I will share my screen. And I believe it is there. As a VPE or another club level officer, you receive an email message saying, member so-and-so has completed the requirements for level 3 in engaging humor. Now, you have to scrounge around to satisfy yourself that basically the member has achieved the necessary pieces, has completed the necessary pieces to enable you to approve that level completion. Well, the tracker system that I'm suggest to you is one of the tools that I have found particularly useful. Looking at the screen, I'm looking at the Basecamp Manager dashboard, and I have an arrow pointing to Basecamp Manager, because that is where you can access the information which I'm going to show you on the next couple of slides. Once you enter Pathways Manager and you proceed to Paths in Progress, you will see I've used my own path as an example. And if you think I'm overly ambitious, I did sign up for all 11 paths when they came out, simply because I would therefore be in a position to help any member in any of the clubs in which I participated to ask a question about their pathway. And I could look at mine and say, I can answer that question. So don't be impressed by what you see as the number of paths listed. Just that's why they're there. By clicking down, you notice there are green boxes in various paths. Those show level completion. However, in other cases, they show level progression. In the strategic relationship in level 2, I have accomplished 1 of 3. Hopefully you are looking at my mouse and it's moving.
Yes.
And thank you. I can then go into the details of that to see which of the electives I have completed or which I still need to complete. So 1 of 3, 0 of 3, 1 of 4, 3 of 3. And that applies to any member whose access you have to see where they are. Any member with a OK check mark in green in the path that you are looking at to approve is good to go for the online lessons, because a level completion includes online lessons, appropriate speeches, and now the additional role participation at each of our 3 levels. The tracker, which I'm going to show you, enables you to cover all 3. This is the motivational strategy, and you will notice that I have dark my icebreaker, my writing a speech with purpose, my introduction to vocal variety and body language, and my evaluation and feedback. If it's dark, it's completed. If it's light gray, it is not yet finished. This is again where you can mentor or help a member of your club to complete that requirement of the online classes. So once again, on this slide, if the name of the class is dark gray, that member has completed that requirement. If it is in light gray, that member has not yet. Here is the tracker. Oh, it looks confusing. Let's make it bigger. The tracker is an Excel workbook. It has multiple columns and rows, as all workbooks have. In this case, you'll see on the first row, member name, when I type in the name of the member whose tracker this is, and then PN, I put in the member's Toastmasters number, because many of us don't remember our number. It's not something we have memorized, at least I haven't. And then it shows you that the learning path, where is my cursor? The learning path, roles, and speech tracking The first column is the name of the path that the member is following. Column B is what I use to color completion of that online lesson. Once on the previous screen, if you recall, the line of that lesson is dark in the Pathways Manager screen, then I can put a check mark or a color in the column B, which tracks online lessons. There's a black dot 2/3 of the way down, and I'm always asked, why is there a black dot? It's because only one online lesson is required to finish evaluation and feedback 1 and evaluation and feedback 2, which are 2 speeches and an evaluation, but there's no second online lesson. Coming over to column D, it's the time for the speech for that particular category. The date the speech is given, the title of the speech, the name of the evaluator of that speech. And now you have a full record of the online class is completed, the speech has been given and evaluated, so that requirement is met, almost. Coming over to column column H, I see the new requirements. I have to be an R counter or a timer while I am pursuing level 1 of dynamic leadership. I can't plagiarize another pathway. I can't pre-pay or post-pay. What Toastmasters has told us is that we need to complete those requirements while in the process of finishing all other requirements for that path and level. The date column, column I, is the date that you have met that requirement or the member has met that requirement. And the notes is where if the requirement can be one or another, you can enter which one it is. Are you an R counter for that requirement, or did you have the timer role? You can put in the date the job was done and put in either timer or R, and you know that that requirement has been met. The same thing for speech evaluator and the same speech for table topic speaker. Level 2 gets a little more cluttered, but the principle is the same. And because I happen to like alphabetical order, I have listed the elective requirements in each of the levels in alphabetical order. That's not the order in which Toastmasters has it, but I know my alphabet. The same thing applies. You have in yellow the required one, and then in white in column B, C, those electives. And you'll notice that for this level 3, the person has to have 2 electives plus the required course. Date of the speech, title of the speech, of course, can be expanded. This is an Excel workbook. Evaluated by, that completes the speaking part of that level requirement. The little box that you saw where I blacken or check the successful completion in the previous slide, that can be checked off also. And then I look and say, when was I, or when was this member, a speech evaluator? The date, the note can be the name of the person the member evaluated. Toastmaster, the date that was done. Table topic master, table topic speaker, or introductory mentor. Whichever one of the 3 roles your member or yourself has completed, in the notes row, you can just put the code in there so that you know which one it was. And then you have for level 3, complete one of the following speeches from the Successful Club series. And you'll see there are 4 listed. And on the far right, the Successful Club series contains more than the requirement. And it provides you the Toastmaster catalog number for each of these. So far, so good? Level 4, same thing. You have to have completed the online class managed change and one additional elective. The time required for those speeches is shown in column D. In column E, the date you gave the speech. Column F, the title of the speech. Column G, who evaluated that speech. And that takes care of the online class and the speeches to complete level 4. Then proceeding over to the right, I also have to be a Toastmaster, a general evaluator, a speech evaluator. I've done that already. No, you have to do it again for this level. And you can be a table topics speaker, table topics master, a specialized role, or repeat any of the ones you did before. The columns which follow are the date you did that new requirement for your level 4 and the note identifying which of the roles you had assumed. Below that, you have to give one speech from the successful club series. The successful club series, finding new members, closing the sale, how to be a distinguished club, and the Toastmasters education program. In this case, you just need to put one date, and in the notes, I suggest you put the name of your evaluator. And we have another requirement for level 4, and that is to complete one speech from the Better Speakers series. You see them all listed on the far right, and you select one of those and you put it down, under the complete one speech selection. You can type in the title of it, put the date down, and who evaluated you. All those Better Speaker series documents, PowerPoints, and slides are available on the Toastmaster International website. Most of us don't usually refer to those. We thought they'd gone away with high buckle shoes, but in fact, they're back. Level 5. Level 5, once again, has a yellow requirement and two additional ones, only one of which is yellow, which is reflect on your path. Once the member or yourself have completed the online lesson on Toastmasters website in Pathways for lead in any situation, and given that speech on a date, a title, and an evaluator, you have to do the same thing for one of the electives in level 5. Once you've accomplished that, you show completed, and then you proceed to reflect on your path, which is a lesson online on the Pathways, which you take again, have evaluated, and record. Okay, you take the lesson online, deliver the speech, record it, and now you are ready to complete the level 5 requirements. Once you have done those new ones, which are be a general evaluator, and be a general evaluator again, be a speech evaluator, and be a speech evaluator again, and so forth and so forth and so on. I'm not going to bore you with all of those, except to point out once again, those must be met while you are working on that level of that path. Then unfortunately, not like tickets to a movie theater. You can't pass them to your friend. Those are the screens where I have been able to capture the information, all the information from members and from myself as to the lessons I've taken online, as to the speeches I've given, the names of the evaluators, and now, with this new requirement, those additional roles or speeches which have been added on to completion requirements. So far, so good? I went to the Toastmasters website, and it's almost up to date. Fancy that. In the Toastmasters website, while you are in the base camp, click on Profile. And you'll notice on the left an ARC counter, general evaluator, grammarian, speech evaluator, timer, Toastmaster, and topics master. It does not yet include table topics master, which is still one of those new requirements we have been, I won't say burdened with, but which have been added to the requirements. By using the pen, where I have click on the pen, you have the opportunity, as do your members, to enter the dates when you met those requirements. So that's someplace else that the VPE can go and look and see, and it is also someplace else where the member can record those roles having been completed. It doesn't say you don't also do the tracker, unless you don't want to. But having the tracker contain that information makes it a lot simpler for the member to follow his or her progress and for the VPE to approve level completion. I did, yeah. Now I will pause briefly and ask if you have questions specifically on the trackers that I could entertain. And as Michelle mentioned, I will be happy to send you the one tracker Excel workbook. I failed to mention, I think, because I mentioned to Michelle, on the tracker, it's one workbook, and it has on the very bottom each of the paths: dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, and so forth. And it has the pathways which are now legacy pathways. And so this single workbook can be used by any member to track all their paths in one workbook. If the member only follows one path, the member or you can delete all the additional tabs in the workbook if they're not needed. The nice thing about this particular single workbook is if a member asks me for a workbook on a certain path, I don't have to create one. I take this one and delete the additional tabs. Back to here. Okay, so I see we have some questions. And Michelle, I'm not able to see
It
what
looks
the,
like Kathy has her hand raised,
okay,
and then we have John.
okay.
Hi, David. I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Um, for the workbook, does that mean as VPE, let's say you have 20 members in your club, you have to maintain 20 workbooks for each member? I mean, well, go
In
ahead.
Toastmasters, Kathy, you don't have to do anything.
Well, I mean, if we're going to use this effectively
Yeah,
to adapt your tool,
yeah.
the way that you use it, you would have 20 workbooks for 20 members, correct?
That's how I use it, yes.
Okay.
However, may I quickly add, which may answer part of your question, Kathy, is once a member gives a speech, I record it after the meeting on that member's tracker, and I send the updated tracker to the member. So the member is also able to update or delete the tracker that I send them, and hopefully their tracker and my tracker match, since I'm the one who sent it to them as soon as they have moved to something new. That can also apply to lessons online in the pathways on Toastmasters International. If I see, for example, that Kathy has finished using PowerPoint slides or something like that on the lessons, and I see it, but you haven't told me yet, I can enter that in the tracker because I have visibility as a VPE on your progress. So it depends on how many members you have, how much effort you want to put into it. Alternatively, Kathy, you can go ahead and make the spreadsheets, the workbooks, and pass them to the members and say, please maintain your own. And once you have satisfied the requirement for that advancement, let me know. So any combination is good. I have enjoyed doing it for my members, and I think my members have told me, you nurse us too much.
And then one last question. In Basecamp, under profile, where you where the member enters their meeting roles, the date,
Mhm.
does it allow multiple times for you to put a date in each of those meeting roles?
No, unfortunately not.
Mm, okay.
Yeah. And I don't have an answer for that. It's to me, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. John?
Yes, good evening, David and fellow Toastmasters, and thank you so much for this wonderful and resource. I have two questions, actually, one comment and two questions. Yes, I would like to, the comment is that this is very useful, and I would like to have both the video and the tracker. My question is, for members that belong to multiple clubs and also belong to my club, it's always when they give these either speeches, the required online speeches, or they give these new additions in other clubs. Should I also record it in this tracker?
John, I have to assume that, well, let's start with a member who is a member of multiple clubs. That member, for this example, is following one path. It doesn't matter if the requirements are met at club A, B, C, or D. If the member on the Toastmasters Pathways homepage does the lesson, then you can record it on that tracker. If that member gives a speech at a different club than yours, and that member informs you, then you can put it on the tracker. So
Okay.
for multiple clubs, that's one approach that I've used. It gets a little more complicated when you have multiple clubs and multiple pathways. I have several of my members who are advanced Toastmasters who are following 4 or 5 paths at the same time. Well, not exactly at the same time, but in the same frame of time. And so it's a dialogue I have with them. Please let me know where you did what, when, to what level, on what path. It's juggling a little bit, but that also can be passed to the member with an explanation of here's what we need to approve your level if the level is approved for this club. If it's approved for your other club, then that VPE or that president or secretary will be the one to approve it based on the information you provide to them.
Okay, thank you. My second last question relates to credits for multiple roles at a particular meeting. I belong to a club where people do this triathlon, where they do speech, they do other requirements and other things at the same time. How many credits can I record for one particular member at one particular meeting?
Well, under Toastmaster rules, I believe it is correct to say that no member can give more than one speech
Yes.
at a meeting.
Okay.
Frankly, if they do a whole variety of other roles, I see no reason why you can't give them credit for each of the roles.
Okay.
So if I'm in a meeting and we don't have that many people appear. So I'm the timer and I'm the grammarian and I'm the R counter. I can give myself credit for those 3 roles during that meeting.
Thank you. I just want to hear your opinion because of this one meeting, one credit rule in Toastmasters. And I was wondering, and they're putting a lot of more burden on members.
Yes.
And to complete a part, it's now taking almost 54 or more session or meetings or activities. So I was wondering, and they've not changed this so-called one credit, one meeting rule or something like that. So that's why I was asking. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the new role requirement is making it more complicated for members and for VPEs to track progress. It makes it much more time consuming for members to finish a level.
Right.
I had a member who had done all but reflect on your path, level 5, for a path. And I suggested, well, let's submit to see what happens. And Toastmasters came back and said, you didn't do the rolls. You didn't do the rolls.
Yeah.
John, forgive me for asking, but where are you from originally?
Oh, Nigeria.
That's what I thought. I've been to Abuja.
Oh, wow, David.
And I was in Lagos before before the capital was moved.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Kathy, you have your hand raised again? Or is it just left over?
Question for you.
Sure.
How does Toastmasters know that you did not meet those requirements, the additional ones that they added? I'm not saying, that we shouldn't do them or whatever, but how does Toastmaster know that you did not complete those?
If you're the VPE and
Mm-hmm.
you're satisfied that your member says to you, Kathy, I've met all those requirements, then you approve it. And if you approve it in Pathways Manager, then Toastmasters gets that information. It's done at the lower level. It's done at the club level. If you don't approve it, then Toastmasters International doesn't know it. Now, I assume most of us are doing Toastmaster practicing and lessons and so forth to improve ourselves. If we're simply chasing merit badges, then we're in the wrong business. And we have to have faith and trust in our members. If you tell me, yes, I had this role, this role, this role, this role, and no, I'm not going to put it in your stupid tracker because it's a pain in the neck. I don't know how to use Excel anyhow. Well, okay. But if you tell me you've done the roles and you know what they are, and they're within the path and level that you're applying for completion, then I'll approve it.
Yeah, okay. David, I observed that for that question, at least for my own, when I completed, I thought I completed the part, and Toastmaster came back to me. It was because when I went back, I saw that every time I complete a row, there's a cross around it. There's a check around it. And so when I went back, I saw that there was no, this was the same thing that I experienced. I had already completed almost every part except the rows, the new other rows. And when I wanted to submit, it says I have not completed because those rows were not done. At least I did not cross it or I did not check it. And I thought that is how Toastmaster knew that I did not complete it. Is that correct?
John, you're challenging me here to something that I don't know because this is a new requirement. The posting of the roles you've taken on your profile in Pathways is brand new to me. And I don't know if it actually links to anything else in Toastmasters.
Okay.
But if you do all the roles and your VPE says, I'll approve it, and if Toastmasters International comes back and says, no, you did not do role A, B, C, D, and E, then I suggest your president or your VPE go back and say, yes, John did role A, B, C, D. Please approve his level completion. And I have to accept the fact that the people in Colorado, I think it is, used to be in California, will accept that as good faith. If they start challenging us, then perhaps maybe they should come into our house and watch us as we go through the online lessons, that we don't speed through them, that we don't skip the next slide. Who knows? That we don't take the survey seriously. What is your, how well do you feel before the lesson? How about you feel after the lesson? I'll just lie. No, the assumption is we're all in good faith trying to improve our leadership and public speaking skills. If we're not able to convince Toastmasters International of the bona fides, of the legitimacy of our requirement, then I think we're in the wrong club.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sir John. And I've been to Lagos and Abuja, but no place else. Charlene, you have a question.
Nope, I have a comment. For some clubs, we put it in the agenda, your roles that you are going to play. So they can see it in your agenda as well. If you did the roles, if you signed up on your agenda, like for your grammarian, they can check your agenda as well to see that you have actually signed up for a role as well, if they want a backup to show that you have actually done the role, as well as the date because I write down a date. I don't have a tracker yet, but I could find it on our agenda, wherein if I did it in that level, okay, I did the grammarian within my level on such and such date. So it is on my agenda if they want to go backwards and go through the problems of, okay, when did they do this? It might be on your agenda as well.
And Charlene, how does Toastmasters International access your agenda?
Well, I'm thinking if they go into your website, that's why I said a big word, if they're going to your website or your club's website, then they may be able to find your club's agenda. That's a if. That's why I said if they are going to be searching for something, then if they're going to search underneath you, they could find your club. And if they could find your club, they could find all of your background information from your club. If they are going that far, they may be able to find your club's information. So if they could find, I know for my one member, they found out that he didn't complete all of his speeches as well as all of his roles. And we thought that he did, and he didn't. So I can't find out how they would find out your roles except off of your agenda.
Yeah. Well,
So
when I go to the second part of my presentation with you, I'll address some of those issues, but I don't know how Toastmasters International has any access to my club's meeting agendas. But Joyce, you have your hand up?
Yes, but to have access to the agenda, you have to be a member of, we use Free Toast Toast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have to be a member to have access to our club agendas.
Mhm.
And currently, our Vice President Education is reconciling the agendas after the meetings
Mhm.
because sometimes people sign up for roles and life intervenes and they don't make it to the meeting.
Say it isn't so.
Please, it's a rare occasion, right?
Oh.
No, but no, it's
No.
and in any case, she has started reconciling the agenda in Free Toast Toast after she gets the meeting notes from the secretary, verifying who was at the meeting and who had what role in the meeting, who gave a speech, regardless of who signed up ahead of time, who actually did it. And a lot of times roles aren't filled until the meeting. You might have some of the roles filled, but you still need the timer or something. And you get somebody to take that role during the meeting. So
You're absolutely right. My next part, if for those of you who are interested, is how I use in my clubs Easy Speak to do exactly what you described. And that's just how I can reconcile the spreadsheets, the Excel workbook tracker that I have with the online classes where the speech is given, the evaluator's name, and the roles and the when of each member. There's a catch. If you are a member of multiple clubs or you are following multiple pathways, it gets a little bit more complicated, but Easy Speak has fixed that. Those crazy Brits with their cup of tea have been able to fix that problem, and I'll show you that in a couple of screens. If you're comfortable, I'd like to proceed to Easy Speak quickly and go through that to see how it can help you, if you use Easy Speak, do the tracking for yourself or your members in the same way Joyce has just explained with Free Toast Host. We're good to go?
Yes.
Easy Speak screen. It's just a web-based application. It was created by a British gentleman in some club in England to keep track of his club about 25 or 30 years ago. It is now, he says, used by over 1,300 clubs worldwide, and it's free, although clubs are free to make donations, and we do, I'm proud to say, regularly make donations to Easy Speak. There's a login screen. Surprise, surprise. After you log in, there's my screen of May 12th meeting. So back to what we were saying, Joyce, I have signed up for nothing, I think, Oh, I have. I'm going to give an educational speech, but I haven't given it. And the Easy Speak allows me to select the title, the successful club series number, and the pathways, so forth and so on. So the information is all there. But the arrow to the left is showing you where, if you go into Easy Speak, there's lots of data. Role history. So, John, you were talking about roles. Joyce, you were talking about roles. In this case, I will find myself, I'm here in the third line down. It's the white bar. It goes white, gray to help us track it. It shows the last role I had was on the 23rd of April. I was Toastmaster at least 3 times. If it's a bright green, it's within the past 6 months. If it's a dark green, it's over 6 months ago. So I was Toastmaster at least 3 times. And if in Easy Speak I click on that check mark, it takes me to the agenda of that meeting. So that's useful. Then I look at speaker. Okay, I have given 5 speeches, I think it says. Yes, 5 speeches. If I click on the yellow green check mark, I can go and see my history of speeches, or I can just go to my tracker. Then I have education. Am I giving an education speech? Well, you can see I did give one. Was I table topics master? Well, I have been 3 times at least. Was I general evaluator? Yeah, a couple of times, but not recently. I was an evaluator 7 times. I was a tabletop speaker none times, which is surprising because the updates are supposed to capture that, and I'm still working with the Easy Speak software people on how to fix that particular oddity. But since Toastmasters International doesn't capture tabletop speaker either, we'll see. And then I have counter, grammarian, and timer. So this is a reflection of the roles taken and done at meetings over a period for each of our 20 or 21 members. This is the speech tracker on Easy Speak. It's a complicated slide, forgive me. Bear in mind, pathways changed in 2017, 2021, 2024, and 2025. Keeping track of that is fun. Each of these paths in which I have given a speech or signed up to give a speech on Easy Speak, the software opens up a whole row of what the requirements are. In blue, speeches. In gray, roles. Once again, if I were to move my cursor to one of these check marks, it would take me to the agenda of the meeting where the speech was given or the role was taken. Because again, once you close a meeting, the agenda is locked and the record is updated. Purple or blue, still to do for that path and that level. Dark green, done. Light green, done recently. And then the clock you see down means the meeting, the speech is scheduled at a future meeting. So once again, the entire picture here is what has been done in roles and speeches. Roles, not quite yet. Speeches, yes. And that's a place that you can go and look and capture information. Easy Speak does not capture online lessons any more than FreeToast. This is separate and distinct from the Toastmasters International's website. Okay, where to locate the 2026 additional non-pathway speeches which are now required for level completion? On Easy Speak, I can tell you where they are. They're down in communications chart, and here they are. This record also goes back to before pathways. So you'll see that special occasion speeches, better speaker series, the successful club series, competition and other speeches, high performance leadership, successful communication, all those were already listed because Easy Speak captured them as they came out. But now, since these speeches are required for level completion, they are now listed in Easy Speak. You do it, it clicked off. You schedule it, it's got a little clock. In the agenda page of Easy Speak, now they've added a little pen next to the name of the person who has signed up and taken the role. If you click on that pen, you have the ability to indicate to which path and which level do you wish to apply that role you took at this meeting. This is an enhancement that EasySpeak has made quite recently, and it gives you the options of those pathways in which you have in EasySpeak given or plan to give speeches. You can't go off the reservation and try to go to a pathway that you're not following. So there's a drop down, and I found that to be very useful. I still don't know where it goes from there. Does it link back up to that long row of blue and gray markers? It hasn't yet. I'm in contact with the software people to see if they can help fix that. But you can assign the role and the level to the speech you gave on that day, to the meeting you attended on that day. And now, questions and comments. There's my email address, and I do respond to email. This is my exclusively Toastmaster email because I'm in District 38, although I hear I'm going to be fired in July and I'll be put in District 221. Yeah, 3-digit numbers. I should have had my name as David O38 so I could have 3 digits. Oh well. The floor is yours. And I thank you for taking the time and patience to be with me this evening.
Thank you very much for this presentation, David. Are there any questions or comments?
Kathy, I think, is asking a question. Oh, she's
I
clapping.
think they're clapping.
I'm clapping.
Okay.
But excuse me. I can see where the tracker can be helpful. Excuse me. I would probably modify it a little bit for my own needs, but you did a nice job, I thought.
Well, thank you very much. I will say, though, that I was helped by people from District 38 to improve the tracker's presentation and contents. None of us have the monopoly of everything, but I like the way you said you could take the tracker and modify it for your own needs. Absolutely. The original trackers I had did not have those new role requirements. They had a place where you could put another speech that met a certain criteria you wanted to. There's nothing wrong with giving 2 speeches to answer questions, or questions and answers is a topic in one of our pathways, one of our paths. And if you want to give 2 speeches on that, that's fine. You had the space in the tracker to record both speeches. I've taken that space out and have allocated that space now to the roles. It doesn't mean you can't add a column or a row and do whatever you want with the trackers.
Thank you, David. One suggestion that I also have, if somebody does not want to keep all of the trackers for all of their members on their computer at home, you could use Google and the Google Drive and direct people to the Google Drive, which could be shared with either the individual as a viewer only, and they couldn't make changes to it, or you could make it where both you as the VPE and the member could edit. But anybody with the link could view it if they wanted to share it. But that would be one suggestion that I would consider. I was already thinking along that line when I was listening.
Very good. Again, we do operate a volunteer organization of people who wish to improve certain skills. And In some cases, I have found perhaps the heavy hand of Toastmasters International, personal opinion, requiring that we do things which we may not wish to do at this stage of our lives. I have the good fortune of now being retired. I have enough time to dedicate to Toastmasters, to trackers, and lots of other things like my grandchildren, my wife, my other kids. You know, life does interfere, right, Joyce?
Right. Well, we're so pleased that you put this presentation together for us today, David. I I don't know that I've heard you speak in quite some time now, so I was excited to hear you presenting today. Your humor shows through, and it was delightful to be a part of this presentation. I wanted to let the attendees who are on the meeting today know that we have other presentations that will be coming up in the future. If you go to our District 38 website, our homepage has all of the upcoming events that you can sign up for. And we're always updating that page, that homepage, with more and more information and help. You're welcome to pass that out to other members. We do have our Club Quality series coming up, which is all about member experience and earning your Distinguished Toastmaster Award and that sort of thing. But we also have some leadership training. We have a free Toast Host session coming up, and I know there are more programs on the horizon, so keep an eye out for that information. And with that, I'd like to once again thank everybody for joining us today. If you don't already know, I'm Michelle Westgate. I am the District 38 Director, and I am again delighted to be here and a part of this. I thank all of you, and the recording will be sent out to you. The link to the recording will be sent out to you, along with access to David and his tracker. Thank you. All right, I will
Thank
stop
you all, and I
recording.
wish you a pleasant evening.